Hello and welcome to video 4 in the Grumpy Grumbles series. In today's video, we're going to be working with some black fine liners, and I'm also going to be bringing in red acrylic markers where we're going to use those in order to create the red fur and then also creating his hat textures. I've been really having a lot of fun with this one, so I hope that you are going to come along with me. So grab your markers and let's get started. Okay, this is completely dry. I've been going back and forth on whether or not I want to do any black outlining. And I think I'm going to, and then you can decide for yourself after you see it if you want to do a black outline or if you just want the colors to kind of create the outline. In the actual image, there really isn't a dark background, but I really love the illustrative look of kind of outlining things a little bit. It'll be a very broken line. So it's like very scratchy, sketchy, not like a hard line. So I think I am going to do that. If you don't want to do this part, like I said, you can move on to the next part, or you can kind of see how I do it and then decide for yourself. I just, you know, like I said, kind of like that way. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can kind of see a little bit closer to what I'm doing. I'm going to go ahead and start up here in the hat. And where I know, like here, it would be fluffy up in here, I'm going to do kind of a little bit of a squiggly line, but I am going to go over this with the white anyway. But I just like to have a little bit of the black in my drawings, it seems like. So I know I could branch out, which I do, but I just wanted to have a little bit of black. One thing to keep in mind about the background as well, I forgot that I had filled my palette up with some new tubes of green paint. And unfortunately, I chose just some random like paints, and they're very chalky. If I would have used a better grade of paint, it wouldn't have turned out quite like this, but I'm okay with it. You could also do a background with salt, which we'll do that sometime so you can see what that looks like as well. But I digress. It'll be fine because he's the focal point anyway. So hopefully after we put all the details and everything in him, it won't matter. And then for the ear, I'm going to do a little bit of a stronger line. Turn this so you can see what I'm doing. My hand's not in the way too much. And we're doing the outline first so that when we put all the little acrylic marker for the hairs and stuff, then it will go over the outline a little bit. One thing, these are Posca markers, a lot of the ones that I'm using. As you shake them up, you always want to do it with the lid on, because if you don't, it can shoot paint onto your picture. I've done that, and that is a sad day indeed. For his eyes, there's a pretty heavy line at the bottom of his eyebrow and then around his eye. And then up here, I'm just going to do some squigglies. I'm just going to kind of put a few little hairs instead of like a harsh outline here. just do some kind of random hairs, just so that the black is in all the areas, even if it's just a little bit. I'm still doing the directionality of which way the hairs would be growing. Just a few little squigglies kind of in the stomach area. And then I'm going to, in pencil, draw in his pupil so I can make sure they're in a spot that I actually like them. They're kind of interesting in the drawing. One's like all the way over here and one's all the way over here. I'm going to kind of change that a little bit. I think I'm going to move the left over just a hair. And they're more of like an oval shape. I still want it to be a little quirky, but I think I like that a little bit better. These eyes actually look like they're green. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and get an acrylic green. It's another Posca pen. This one's more of a fine tip. And go ahead and color that in all the way with just that green. All right. Now I have a couple of different brands and colors of reds. Red, this is a dark red. This one is earth, I guess, but I'm gonna use some different, a few different colors in the reds, and then I'm gonna use whites to put the white back into where we had used the Payne's gray. And I think I'm gonna put the red in first, so that the white can kind of go over the reds. So in the hat, I'm gonna put a couple different colors, I think. I'm gonna start with this earth red. This is just like a totally off brand, but it has a finer tip, which is what I was looking for. And I'm just gonna, I kind of practice down here to see what I like. And I'm just gonna go in and put some squigglies so that it looks like the hat has some texture. And you can go a little bit out of your little outline. I'll just go ahead and go through all of them with this color first. And again, this is all layers, just adding up some texture. You could use colored pencils, you could use watercolor markers, which I almost did, but I didn't feel like the watercolor markers, I just didn't like, I felt like I couldn't get the details that I wanted. But you could certainly play around with any of those. I'm going to put a few little hairs in the ears. And then I can go in with just the red color and add a little bit more of a contrast. Again, just kind of squiggly lines where I'm picking up the marker every once in a while. And again, you don't even have to do a texture. You can make it all flat, which would be really cool as well. You don't even have to have any hairs sticking out. Sky's the limit, you know, if you want to do more than one version, you know, especially if you do them a little smaller, unlike me, who has a problem making things too big. And then we can just continue going down with creating the fur texture using different colors. This one's a little bit fatter. So I'm going to use it in a couple spots, I think, but I won't use it everywhere because it is a lot fatter. But now I'm just kind of flicking my wrist, if you will. And as I said, I can flick this way a lot easier than this way. Like when I do eyelashes on my girls, like these are beautiful over here and these are like dirt. But that's all right. And again, directionality matters. And then I can go in with a little bit of a finer red. And I'm going to go over this because this is a little bit lighter. And I'll make more of a dark right underneath. But hopefully you can see we're just building up some texture. And again, I could have done this completely flat without adding any of the extra hairs. I do that kind of a lot where things are just done a little bit more flat, which I love as well. But this is just to try new things. Do something fun together. And this cat cracks me up. He's like I think I might have said this earlier, but he's like a Grinch version of a cat, but a cat instead. And then I can go in with that little bit darker color as well. Not necessarily darker, it's a little bit darker, but it's just another little bit of a different shade of red. Hopefully you can kind of see where I'm building that up a little bit. And I'm going to work my way down into his body. I do have this Fat Mama Jamma. It's a very dark. I think I might try it down here just because these are bigger areas and see what I think about it. But you would want to start with the darkest, I think, and then work your way up to the lightest color. And I just want to see, it's so fat, it's hard to keep it more, you know, more of a fine line. So I didn't want to use it in the smallest of areas. Maybe more like in his tummy. And remember, you're putting the hairs in kind of like parentheses where they'd be a little bit more straight here, and then they're working their way out in more of a curved so that you get that illusion of it being round. And I know he had the berries. I'm trying to decide if I want to even put those in. I may just leave those out at this point. Just kind of making little baby hairs. And I'm kind of trying to go into the white areas as well, because he'd be furry, so it would be overlapping a little bit. I think I'm going to put a little bit of this darker, bigger color, kind of as squigglies in there. And then I can go back over it with a little bit of a lighter one to brighten it back up a little bit. I should have started with this one, but I just want to add a little bit more contrast in there, especially in the areas that are in shadow.
So I'll be finishing up this video here in a minute after I finish doing this portion of the red, and the last video will be posted right after this one, and it will be just doing the finishing touches, adding the white, adding some highlights, and we'll be wrapping up Grumbles, the Grumpy Kitty. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that you're enjoying this little series, and I look forward to seeing you in 2026.